Thank you for joining us on GlobalSigns. Today, Yong-in Cho, a fintech expert and the head of e-commerce at fiserv, will share his deep knowledge of financial technology across the EU and Asia. Fiserv is the world's largest payment provider that innovates, creates, and develops user-friendly domestic and international payment services. Welcome to GlobalSigns, Yong-in.
Thanks for having me, Bruce.
Thank you. Can you tell our viewers about Fiserv and your role there?
Sure. So fiserv is a financial technology and financial services company. Our head office based in the US, and we are one of the first ever fintech companies established globally. And we specialize in the online and offline payments for over 100 countries. In Korea in particular, we're a value-added network or a switch and a payment gateway company. And my role at the company as head of the e-commerce is helping domestic and international companies who are looking for global standard payment services in South Korea.
Can you tell our viewers about PG or payment gateway business?
Sure. So fundamentally, the role of the payment gateway is a service provider that can validate payment details and ensuring funds are securely processed. PG's core functionality is to give consumers access to make payments on e-commerce sites with multiple forms of payments.
Now, how has COVID-19 impacted the payment dynamics of consumer spending?
Not a major change in the industry itself, but significant change in the consumer purchasing trends. Even in the past and present, payment service providers are always finding ways to stimulate recovery and prioritize itself, even to tackle the COVID restrictions. We've seen a lot of decline in cash, rise in the digital payments, and embedded payments becoming a norm. And what's even interesting is we're now seeing the appeal of blockchain and cryptocurrency merging into the market. But the negativity about this is it also increases the risk of fraud. Fiserv, unlike conventional payment gateway companies in South Korea, we have a unique solution that's able to take businesses to expand its business coverage, not just in Korea, but outside of Korea also with a single connection point.
How are alternative payment methods such as Kakao Pay, Apple Pay, Amazon Pay, and Google Pay changing the business approach for consumers?
We're seeing a much higher increase in the user base for these wallet-type payments due to the pandemic, but through these solutions, it simplifies the user experience for the consumers while protecting the private information of the user. From a business level, alternative payments allow additional payment options in their businesses for consumers. However, still to this day, card payment is still covering more than 80% of the market share. And card companies are also continuing to bring additional values for card usage, such as discounts, installment payments, and etc. And so I don't expect much increase or quick growth in the alternative payment space at this time.
Oh, interesting. Now, Yong-in, why are big tech companies developing their own payment services?
Well, COVID has become a perfect excuse for them because the consumers are now moving from conventional brick and mortar to e-commerce. And so the businesses are creating to be able to adapt to that. And so they are designing their own payment wallets, point programs, and even online shopping malls. And so by doing this way, they are capturing and building a legacy customer base. And consumers' user experience, their blogs, their comments, such determines the sustainability of businesses these days. Hence, improving and diversifying themselves does create an advantage over their competitors.
Recently, BNPL or Buy Now, Pay Later has emerged as a hot topic in the global payment service market. Can you tell our viewers about BNPL and what is the outlook for BNPL in your view?
Sure. Buy Now, Pay Later is the next big thing in payments these days globally for retailers and also even for consumers. This new service basically allows customers to be able to break down their payments in segments. Hence, it becomes an installment payment program. The funny thing is that Korea, all the car companies and businesses have been using this model of payment service for over 2 decades. there are payment-specific services in Korea where it does not exist in other markets, and why Korea is still to this day much ahead of the other markets in terms of payment services. And where this works well for Korean companies and the credit card companies is because they put their customers' user experience as their highest priority.
Recently, Bitcoin became legal tender in El Salvador, and AMC, an American movie theater chain, announced the introduction of a payment system that allows users to buy movie tickets with cryptocurrency. Will cryptocurrency be used to make most payments eventually?
I definitely think so. I think the pandemic has helped to help cryptocurrency to merge into the payment space. We have currencies which has its values. There are services that allow for loyalty programs to convert into cash and make payments. So they're very similar to cryptocurrency. So in Korea, for example, you've got Paycoin, which is created by a payment service provider called Danel, is giving users and their business portfolios ready and access to increased payment methods. However, for cryptocurrency to be acceptable or be functionable in Korea, it does need the support from the local financial regulators to create policies and guidelines to be able to protect the businesses and the consumers.
Now, finally, can you recommend any stocks to our viewers today?
Sure. So as a fellow Australian, my recommendation for a stock is Afterpay. Afterpay is a buy now, pay later company established in Australia, who recently was acquired by a new US hosting payment giant, Square. So Afterpay now has more than 10 million active users and now has access to Square's entire portfolio of merchants that the users have access to make installment payments. This company won't have much success in Korea, but rest of the world is in high demand for these types of payments.
Yongin Cho, head of e-commerce at fiserv, the world's largest payment service provider. Thank you so much for being with us today and sharing your insights on this fascinating field.
Thank you very much, Boris.
Thank you. Yongin makes one stock recommendation, Afterpay, which is listed on the Australian Stock Exchange. That does it for us this week. Thank you so much for being with us. Until next week, please be safe and healthy.